What is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. I'm Brandon, this Extreme Daily Drivers. Thanks so much for stopping by the garage. Today's an update video, man. I've been doing a lot of stuff to the Jeep, and I haven't been filming all of it. I know, I'm terrible. And I've actually had some work done to the Jeep that I haven't done myself, even crazier. So let's get into it. Let's start off with probably the biggest thing that I've done, suspension. All right, so check this out, man. We have lower control arms, we have extended end links, and we have a track bar. So these guys here, these are from Core 4x4. These are the lowers, I believe, and then these are the uppers. And then these are extended sway bar end links that I got from Rusty's Off-Road along with the track bar. So I'm actually not gonna be installing any of this in today's video, mainly because I cannot do it safely in my own house. I can't get the rear of the Jeep inside of the garage because of the roof basket and because of the lift. So as a result, I can't swap this stuff out. Luckily, I don't live very far from Goliath Off-Road. They're going to be handling the installation. It really is a relatively simple install. You can easily do it in your own house. There's actually a really good video on YouTube that I'll link down below by somebody who shows you step by step how to swap this stuff out.
2 hours later.
All right, dude, we are back from Goliath Off-Road. Let me show you these sweet suspension upgrades we made to the rear. All right, let's start back here. We got our track bar installed. Now that's not a Core 4x4 track bar. I just put the sticker on there because it looked cool. We got this guy installed. This guy adjusts basically our axle from left to right. They got it dialed in as close as they can, but we're not gonna know if it's perfect until we get an alignment, which I'm gonna have done very shortly. All right, next up are these shocks that I just installed a little while ago. These are Bilstein 5100s. Check it out. Link down in the description, man. Now these are for the Ford F-150. They are not for a Commander, but they're nice and long. They're beefy shocks. It's an upgrade in the rear. Before any of you guys start flaming me for telling me these are upside down, they are not. They are different than the typical 5100s that go on the Commander, where the boot would be at the top. Bilstein always wants your label to be red and not upside down. So this is the correct configuration for the shock in the rear. These guys are super long, man. These things are like 4 inches longer than the ones that I had on here, which were just stock Bilstein shocks. You do have to shim these a little bit to get them to fit because, again, they're for the F-150. Now let me show you the lower control arms. All right, here they are. We got the lower, we got the upper, we got our extended sway bar end links, and man, we are looking good back here. You know, I guess while we're underneath the car, I'll show you some of the undercoating that I've been applying. I'll show you some before and after here of kind of what I was dealing with. It was super light surface rust. Just went ahead and ground it down a little bit and then hit it with some really inexpensive Duplicolor undercoating, and it leaves like a real nice texture, kind of a little bit of rubbery feeling, probably not all that far off from Plasti-Dip. But I plan to do the entire underneath here at some point. I really need to do the axle, and that's going to be a little bit more labor intensive. Yeah, I would like all this to match. You can see up there that needs to be done. So yeah, I just started it. I didn't put a lot of work into this, but I think it turned out pretty good. You guys let me know what you think down in the comments. All right, man, so those are some of the huge suspension upgrades that we've done. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of the stuff we've done to the rear. Not much left to do suspension-wise. Really happy with it, man. Really happy. Drives great. Handles better now with all that stuff down there. I still have to get an alignment, like I mentioned. That'll dial in even more. So yeah, man, it's pretty sweet. Anyway, let me show you some of the other upgrades that I've made over the last couple months. So check this out. If you guys remember a while back, I bought a Rotopack, and it was too big to go on the swing out because it was starting to cover my tail light. So I mounted it up here on the roof. Check it out. It is a 1.75 gallon water jug, and I really needed this when I went camping a couple weeks ago. I needed this additional water. So pretty sweet install, real straightforward. If you guys are interested, I'll put a link down in the description, all the parts that I used. But this is great, man. Just totally out of the way, inconspicuous, and easy to get to. All right, check this out. So I installed one of these little junction blocks here. I've had this for a year, dude. I've had that for a year and didn't know what to do with it or where to put it because there's not a great spot for it here in the engine bay. I decided to just mount it on top of the battery, and man, it is really sweet. So really inexpensive. I think this was 20 bucks off Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description, but basically it's just a big fuse hub. Really cleans everything up. If you guys remember, I had a million things going to the grounds. I had a million things going to the positive post of the battery, a million things going to the negative post of the battery. I just had a lot of stuff going around. What I had going on was not necessarily wrong, but this is much better, much cleaner. So essentially, you have one jumper that goes to the positive and one jumper that goes to the negative. That feeds the junction block. Inside the junction block, you have various fuses. Take this off. And basically, it adds a fuse to anything that you have plugged in. So all my accessory stuff, my CB, my GMRS radio, my lights, all that kind of stuff, it's all coming here. So basically, this matches. These are all positives, and then this is kind of the negative block. So yeah, man, really cool, really straightforward. It took a little bit to do because I had to make some splices and change wiring lengths and stuff like that. It still isn't perfect under here. Still a lot of wires going on, but it's way better than it was, trust me. So one of the reasons for all the wiring was I installed these guys from Diode Dynamics. I forget the actual name of them. I'll put a link down in the description, but my goal is to switch everything over to Diode Dynamics lighting. I really like it. These little pod lights, and again, I forget the actual name of them. They're super rad. It has a spot and a fog mix on them. You can tell by the lens how it's kind of clear up here and then blocked down here. Gives off an awesome light pattern. I'll give you a shot of that here in a minute. And the super rad thing about these is they have backlighting. So let me show you what that looks like. Even in the daytime, you'll be able to see it. So I walk in here, hit my little button. Check it out, man. Isn't that rad? So it's an amber backlight. Just looks super cool, especially when the vehicle's on. And you know, I got the Raptor lights. My fog lights are amber, so everything looks really cool. I only really use it at dusk time, but love that feature. Really cool. And if you guys don't remember, I have their reverse lights slash chase lights up here on the back of the rack. These essentially do the exact same thing. I guess another thing I should go over are these rear brakes. I know, right? It's just a terrible video here of it. But anyway, I'll show you a before and after right here. I went ahead and replaced the rotors and pads. They were original on this car, if you can believe that. And just replaced it with some good stuff and painted some calipers and turned out pretty sick. All right, so another thing I've added to the interior, and I did this several months ago, but I absolutely love this mod, is my little GPS that I've mounted right here on my A-pillar. I'll go over that install in a second because, dude, that turned out sick, man. I love the way this is installed. But anyway, it's my little Garmin. I actually forget the model number. I'll put a link down in the description. I know you're saying, why in the world do you have a stupid GPS? Our phones have GPS. Your stereo has GPS. Why in the world do I have an additional GPS? So a big reason is that Kelly and I are doing a lot of traveling recently out of state, and to be able to bring a GPS that you're familiar with and that is mobile, can go in any car, is super cool. You're not fighting with the car stereo that's in the rental car, and sometimes they turn GPS off on that, or you have to pay an additional fee to get the GPS, and you're not worried about your phone going dead or just relying on your phone so much while you're driving, you know, in areas you're not familiar with. Having the GPS is awesome, and I love the way that it's mobile. It can go basically anywhere I go. So this little Garmin is super rad and super easy to use. You don't really touch it all that much anymore. They've come a long way. Everything now is like a voice command. So you can go ahead and say, okay, Garmin, and then find place, Magic Kingdom, 1, navigate. And there you go, man. So this GPS is basically like almost like another cell phone in the car. This connects to my cell phone via Bluetooth. If I get like a phone call, it'll show up on here who's calling. If I get a text message, the text message will show up here so I can read it. I can even respond through this too. It's really cool. It gives you up-to-date like traffic information. So for where you're going, there's gonna be a delay. It'll automatically tell you. It will also give you other alternative routes. Up ahead is really cool. What it'll do there is it'll tell you any kind of rest areas, gas stations, restaurants. And if you click on like the restaurant tab, it'll actually show you all the restaurants in the area as well as like their TripAdvisor rating. It's super cool. Yeah, obviously trip data. And another really cool thing is weather. It'll tell you the weather outside. It'll tell you the weather where you're going, and it also will give you live weather updates. So now check out how this guy's installed, man. This took a little while to figure out, but dude, it's so rad. This thing is basically bulletproof. So what I did was, there's a bolt, right, that's underneath the little grab handle here, I removed the bolt, and the bolt's like this long. I took it to the hardware store and I found one that's this long, right? Then I went and got a little ram mount ball and installed it, and then I drilled everything out because, you know, it has to be drilled out a little bit for everything to fit through. But you can see that piece of plastic is still there. It's got a huge hole drilled through it with the ball mount in here. Then I got the little arm, another little arm, and attached this. I ran the power up through, dude, this is super clean, up through and around, I hope you guys can see that, into the A-pillar, and then down through and in. And dude, it's sick. It doesn't get better than this, dude. And what's rad about this is, you may say, well, I don't really care about a GPS. I don't want a GPS. You could put a GoPro here super quick. I just attach this, mount a GoPro there. You could put a cell phone mount here, so that, you know, you throw your cell phone on there if you don't like, you know, having it anywhere else. But dude, this thing is super sturdy. Absolutely love it. And this surprisingly is one of my favorite mods I've done to this vehicle. I thought this would be cool. I didn't know it was going to be this cool. All right, so my last little addition is this guy. This is from primoworks.com. I'll have a link down in the description. It is an elbow rest that also has several pockets. Put stuff in there like your cell phone. Where's my cell phone? Here it is. Boom. Put your cell phone in there. Zipper pocket. Put some other stuff in there. I don't know, whatever you want to put in there. Business cards maybe. But dude, this is rad because it's another cup holder too. You know, since these are kind of older cars, they don't have a bazillion cup holders in them. They have the two in the middle, and those are good. But typically nowadays, you usually have some cup holders down here in the door panels, and unfortunately, we don't have those. So having an additional cup holder here, super nice. And this padded armrest is super nice too. Super comfortable. There is no installation. Let me pull this stuff out of here, and I'll show you what I mean. It just sits in the channel of your door. And it's made out of aluminum, and it's rigid. And you just slide it in there, and that's it. You can slide it forward, slide it back. You know, while you're driving in your car, you got a pretty rad place to rest your elbow. Super nice. All right, guys, I think that just about does it for all the upgrades that I've done recently to the Jeep Commander. Let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite, or which one you'd like to do to your rig. Really happy the way this thing is coming along, man. I still want to do a couple upgrades. As you guys know, I'm always itching to do something, always looking for something cool to add on that makes sense. You know, I just don't do stuff. I do it if it makes sense. But anyway, I think that's about it. Thanks so much for watching. And yeah, I got my next video is going to be rad. If you got a Jeep Commander, you definitely want to tune in. It's going to be, hopefully it works. I don't know if it's going to work because I don't think it's been done before. But we're going to try to add a cabin filter to our Jeep Commander. It's perfect time of the year too. Everyone's dealing with pollen. So make sure you tune in to the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. We'll see you next time. Later.